I hope you're mentally well and physically well. If you want to see more videos up and down your algorithm, like and subscribe. Um, this video is about a lady who bought into the market in that London is a beautiful city to live in. Um, let's check her experience after 12 years living in London from China.
London, England is an expensive city, but surely if you're on a high salary, you can afford to live a good life, right? Well, let's find out what this Chinese girl's life was like in London.
After 12 years in London, I'm telling you, girls like me simply can't survive here. Even though I've pushed myself to earn over 100k a year, it's still not enough. The fact is, if you want any sort of decent life in London, your family needs to hand you at least 800k to buy property minimum. I've worked in London's tech industry for 9 years. Even though I've been earning 6 figures for the past 3 years, I can only afford to buy a flat worth around 500k with a mortgage. Look, I know 500k is a lot of money, but at that price, you'd either in an area where you don't feel particularly safe, or you end up in some grotty, rundown neighborhood that's not exactly desirable. The second you buy, you become a mortgage slave. For the next 20 to 30 years, every fucking life decision you make revolves around that goddamn property. Once you got a massive...
Yeah, because once you got that mortgage, if you're ill, yeah, say you come down with, I don't know, say you happen by accident, you broke your leg riding a bike, or I don't know, roller skating, or I don't know, you just had a car accident. You better not be off work too long, boy, because that mortgage is hanging over your head, bro. And boy, if you don't get back to work in a rush, then that mortgage is just gonna fall apart.
Mortgage hanging over you, you become what I called a London wage slave. Someone with a low quality of life, constantly terrified of losing their income. To actually have any breathing room in London, you need two things: a property with no mortgage, plus about 40k pounds a year for living expenses. Otherwise, even if you come from a comfortable middle class family back home, London will have you constantly stressed about money. And if your degree isn't in computer science or finance, you simply won't earn enough to live comfortably in London. So if you're coming to UK to study, you really need to think hard about whether your degree will actually pay. Because the moment you graduate, London's cost of living will absolutely crush you. Trust me, I've been there. I remembered when I first graduated, less than 40k pounds a year. I'd sit there staring at my bank account, genuinely debating whether I could afford an 18-pound bowl of ramen. Never ever in my life did I think I'd have to stress about the cost of noodle. Ridiculous. And if you haven't got a business mindset and you're just working a 9 to 5 like me, you've basically got two options. One, accept low pay and live on a shoestring, sharing a house with 4 or 5 random people, or chase those high-paying jobs and completely burn yourself out, which is exactly what I did. Back home, my family wasn't wealthy, but we were comfortable. I never imagined that moving to London would mean going through every struggle I never faced before. Now, I know some girls moving to London hoping marriage would change everything.
You're fortunate. Your parents are rich. Well, not your parents had money to give you. You know, what if a person doesn't have rich, uh, what you call middle class wealth? It's even harder.
Fair enough, London's full of wealthy people from around the world. I mean, just look at Princess of Wales. In Britain, marrying up isn't just a fairy tale, it actually happens. Over the years in London, I've met loads of girls who've somehow managed to marry millionaires, even billionaires. These girls, some are gorgeous, some are brilliantly clever, but most of them are ambitious and know exactly how to make things happen. But here's the thing, when you marry someone way above your economic and social level, the power balance is completely off. You most likely gonna lose control of your own life. Everything becomes about what your husband needs. Do you really want to live a life like that?
Well, 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 if you decide to, you're saying they could do it themselves, then do it yourself and live alone, singly, and be lonely. Of course, if you marry a really rich man and he's gonna pay for you to stay at home, yeah, especially when you haven't had kids yet, what do you expect him to do? Obviously, if you choose, you choose. Yeah, the key word, if you choose to marry a rich man who's out there working long hours, yeah, leaving in the morning, not coming back till dark at night, yeah, and of course, for the first few years of when you're married, you're not going to do nothing at home. There's no kids to look after. You're gonna be watch feet up in the sofa or whatever, watching daytime television or Netflix or whatever and so forth. Of course, when he comes home, he wants the place to be clean. He wants, a meal to be cooked. What do you expect from marrying him? What you expect to marry him? Yeah, work yourself. Yeah, what is it? And then what happened when you come home, not even cooking a meal, not nothing? What's the point if he married you? The reason why he married you as a wife is that his life could be peace, so he can go out and work hard. He can come back and have a nice clean house with food cook, you know. Um, his house made into like a little place of comfort for him when he comes back from working hard. What do you expect to do? What do you expect when you marry him? To not work, yeah, chill at home, and then what do you expect to marry a rich man, yeah, and to have your ambition, yeah, and go out and work and this, that, and the other. When he comes home, he has to cook his own food. What's the point of marrying you, dude? Then what's the point of him marrying you? Then he might as well not even marry you and just be on his own. This woman's from China and she's still got this crap feminist rubbish in her head.
And if you've moved to London from abroad and you're not naturally good at socializing like me, you are going to feel properly lonely. British people themselves are incredibly reserved. They just don't socialize much at all. To most of them, cousins barely even count as family. So building friendships here takes massive amount of time, energy, and money. And if you don't fancy
This is what made me used to laugh about these EDL, not far right reform voters, Stephen Law characters, and Tommy Robbins of us. They say British culture, which they don't even know what British culture is. They don't know whether British culture is secular or they don't know if it's Christian. They say that, and it can't be both. If it's Christian, it's not secular and it's not democratic, because there's no democracy in Christianity. There's rules and laws that tell you that something is forbidden as sin, and God hates it, or there's things that God loves and rewards. But in secularism, you could do whatever you want, and most secularism people don't believe in God. But the point is, she said, look, English people are very introvert, and they don't mix, and they're not outgoingly friendly. And if you're introvert like her, it's gonna be hard to make friends. Yes, because London is built upon work. Sleep, wake up, work. But people ain't got time. People are not generally friendly in London. In London, people are not generally friendly on the street. They don't say hi. You know what I'm saying? They're not having long conversations with you if they don't know you. Like everyone's like, A, go to work. Yeah, B, come back from work. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's in, just get in and out, yeah, as quickly as you can. You know what I'm saying? Get to and from work as quickly as you can and stuff, because tomorrow you gotta wake up and do the same thing again. So it makes me laugh when I hear all these racist knuckleheads talking about, British culture is warm and welcome, tolerant, blah blah blah. You're not tolerant, damn. You're not tolerant, damn. A lot of you, if you don't have this white skin, person could be born here. You see them. A lot of people see them as disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, like listen to them. Except the few that you know, I don't know if you or the portion of them that live on council estates and mix with Vladimir's and mix with Mohammed's and mix with Kofi's and stuff, and they actually mix with black people. So there's no black people ain't beneath them, or ethnic people are not lower than them. But a lot of English people who only live in white areas, yeah, are actually racist and look down on people, and even other white people, they don't want to make friends with, because they're in the hustle and bustle of guided to and from work, and just time and life. Time is very scarce.
putting in all that effort, you will end up isolated, just like I am. This may sound harsh. It's not that London isn't brilliant. It is. But for someone like me, who has no family money and has to do absolutely everything on my own, staying in London is just misery dressed up as success.
Injured due to a slip, trip, or fall in the last 3 years? If the answer is yes, then you need to keep watching this video. If you saw
So it must be okay.
Misery dressed up as success.
She hit the nail on the head right there. There we go. A highly paid employee right there. Business-minded, young, intelligent woman who earns money where you could just live like an absolute queen here in Southeast Asia. There's barely enough to get by in London, really. I mean, when it comes to just renting your own decent flat, eating decent food, and doing decent things on the weekend, everything just costs so much money in London, right? I mean, with that salary, of course, living here in, say, Kuala Lumpur, you know, you could live like an absolute queen. So let's find out what she did next.
I earned a six-figure salary in London, and I still couldn't afford to live there. According to IFS data, only the top 3% of UK households earn that much. But here's what they don't tell you. After tax, I took home just over £6,000 a month. Enough to survive London, not enough to actually live there. Let me break down my living costs.
If you can't survive on 6,000, what are you talking about? After she got 6,000, come on, man. That's enough to survive on, but it just depends. Where did you get this lifestyle from that you're talking about? Yeah? Maybe you want to go to one of these expensive restaurants where you get a little piece of meat and it's got some fancy French name or European name or bloody, you know, because such and such magazine told you you're posh if you eat this, so you get some little bit of meat with a flour on it, and it's called Lee steak or something, and you're paying some crazy amount of money for it. But if you've got £6,000 left after over, like, you should be after your rent's paid or wherever, like, you should be able to survive, man.
This is a 45 square meter one bed flat I rented in Haggerston, £1,780 a month. You'd think that buys you safety, right? Wrong. On my first day moving in, someone was murdered outside the building entrance. Every few weeks after that, stabbing and shooting robberies, always in hundreds.
You're paying that big money. You're paying that big money and someone got murdered outside your house. Oh, man. Oh, man. But that's what I don't get. What I don't get is we're told that people in China, what the impression the media gives us from England and America, that people from China lives in a cage. Yeah, or that they can't speak, or they have no freedom. They live in a home where they can't go out, where they can't express themselves. So if China's that bad, if China is that much of a prison country, which I don't believe is, but I don't believe anything that Western media says about England or sorry, I don't believe anything English media or American media says about China, Russia, the Middle East, Africa. I don't believe anything they say because they've colonized all these places, and whenever they speak about anywhere apart from Europe, yeah, Eastern Europe or England or America, yeah, they always speak negative to them bad. But if China is, according to the media that we've been told, she should love it in England because she's free and she can do whatever she wants. And even if it's expensive, at least she can breathe. At least she can, be a human being. So it must be forced because she's complaining about how bad it is. But if you came from a prison cage, then you should be happy. So either they must be lying about China. It can't be that bad if she complained about she's free but things are expensive.
Person who gets nightmares from horror film posters. Now imagine living with that fear every.
Why the hell are you living in London anyway? Right, being from China where you have state-of-the-art infrastructure, safe streets, very low crime rate, amazing food. What is this girl
Look,
doing?
this English guy as well is saying that he's lived um in China and it's clean, state of the art, the infrastructure is good and stuff, and blah blah blah. So even he's been to China, and the myth must be it must be a lie about China.
London. Like, seriously.
Everything on night. Here's what else I paid every month. Council tax, £80, utilities, £100, water service, £50, heating, £200, Wi-Fi, £55, groceries, £300, eating out and takeaway, £700 to £1,000, monthly tube pass, £170, mobile, £22. I spent over 65% of my post-tax income just to exist in London, and that left me less about £2,000. But I couldn't actually spend it. Every penny had to go to savings and investment, otherwise I'd be working until I literally dropped dead. No chance of ever retiring. But the real costs, those are invisible. Every time a friend asked me to meet her, I'd calculate first. Going out starts at £100 minimum to drinks, dinner, transport, maybe a second venue. Over time, I started to filter friendships by price. Is this person worth my £100? That became the automatic calculation in my head. A best friend might casually announce,
Is this person worth my 100 quid? uh, what crazy.
I'm moving to Paris next week. In a highly transient city, investing in friendship often feels expensive and pointless. The most expensive cost, the one you can see. To keep that six-figure job, I have to constantly prove my worth. Every project was a competition. Every presentation was performance. Weekends spent on courses.
Why are you complaining for you? You're a strong, independent woman. Why are you complaining? Competition. Yeah, capitalism. Why are you complaining for?
Certifications, evenings, networking events, and side projects. Holidays, I'd feel guilty for not being productive. The high salary wasn't freedom, it was a golden handcuff that demanded I keep getting better, faster, stronger, just to stay in the same place. So I tried everything to cope: therapy, life coaches, wellness retreats, spending huge amount of time, money, and energy just to convince myself I was doing okay. And then there was the ultimate absurdity. When London became unbearable, I'd escape for a week. Malta, Japan, Copenhagen. I was working in London to afford to live London. My life had become a system designed around avoiding itself. That's when I realized I wasn't building a life, I was servicing a system. So I quit my job and moved back to China to live with my family. Now I sleep as late.
Hold on. Why would you go leave? Why would you leave free to democratic London to go and live to China, the cage, the prison the prison camp? Why? I'm sure anyone would rather be free and broke than live in a cage. So if China's so bad, why did you go back?
As a want,
Fantastic.
at 20 Celsius degree January make me happy. I was working in London to afford to live London. My life had become a system designed around avoiding itself. That's when I realized I wasn't building a life, I was servicing a system. So I quit my job and moved back to China to live with my family. Now I sleep as late as I want.
Fantastic.
At 20 Celsius degree.
What's she doing outside? Just hold on, she's in China. What's she doing casually going for a walk in China? I thought it was a prison camp. I thought unless you were working, you had to be inside your house like George Orwell's 1960, 1984. So, was it 1984 or 1964? 1984.
And you make me happy. Rice noodle downstairs costs less than £1 and tastes better than London's £18 noodle. Want to
Wait a minute, she's in China outside eating. I thought it was a prison camp. It looks beautiful.
friends? No more calculation. Just call and meet up. No need to book their time.
Oh, you can just go and meet your friends in China. Oh, it's not a prison camp. Oh, we'd be nice to.
I'm 2 weeks in at once. Life like this, my six-figure salary in London could never buy. If you're struggling with whether to live a city that's draining you, ask yourself this: are you living or just surviving? Some cities
Hold on, there she is stretching her arms out by the riverside, by the beautiful country. I thought China was a jail.
are only meant for certain seasons of your life, and it's okay to change your mind.
Exactly. Hit the nail on the head. Again, when it comes to life in London, you can see she was living a working, doing whatever she was doing, but of course living a lavish lifestyle full of going out and dining and doing all sorts of activities, living alone in your own one-bedroom apartment. And of course, that's going to cost you more than half of your salary, as we heard. More than 65% of her salary was just to exist in London. And that is not what life's about. London being the most expensive city, not just in the UK, but one of the most expensive cities to live in Europe, in the world, I should say. But she went back to China and living a much better life there, less stressful, less, more safe, definitely. So why?
How can China be more safe? That's what I'm saying. It's like they've been lying to us. If it's more, how can it be more safe? I thought China, you get killed if you say the wrong thing in public. Oh, they were lying to us.
One wants to move to London and work hard there just to pay into the slave system, paying all of that tax. If you're on a six-figure salary, 100K a year, right? Let's just say you're on 100K a year, half of that is going to tax, right? At least 48% is going to tax, and then you've got all your bills, but then you've got all your council tax on top of that as well. Not to mention all the other costs. So people are waking up. It's not just British people, but Chinese people are getting sick and tired at the high cost of living in the UK, and they are deciding to return to China. And I was talking to some Chinese girls the other day and asking them, what do you think about China, life in China, even compared to Kuala Lumpur? And they all say that they love China and they want to go back to China. So things are happening in China in a good way. And things in the UK are happening, of course, in a bad way, and I do not see anything getting better in the UK anytime soon, especially under this draconian regime that we have. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you know a thing or two about what life is really like in the UK, if you've ever lived there, if you're not from the UK, or if you are from the UK, have you lived your life anywhere else? Have you lived in China? Have you been to China? Let me know in the comments what you think about China if you've been there. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
People need an incentive to come in, and quality of space is a huge part of that. But in addition to that, community and engaging on a human level.
Okay. Guys, if you made it this far, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.